Yatong, what's the matter? You look so worried.
It's the end of the month again. My wallet is almost empty. When I was a purchasing agent, short of money will not happen. The income was not huge. Pocket money is always plenty.
Why stop now? Is the business not good?
It was easier before 2019. We didn't have to pay taxes for the products bring from abroad. The price is good to attract a lot of buyers, but it's different now. The E-commerce Act, which came into effect on January 1, 2019, has included purchasing agent in regulation, whether it is e-commerce platform or personal agent belongs to the category of e-commerce operators, which must get business registration according to law, fulfill tax obligations, and obtain relevant administrative licenses.
So you mean, now that the goods brought back have to be tested according to law, it can't be that cheap?
That's right. To sell in such cheap prices after paying taxes is a bad bargain. Without the price advantage, the goods are not competitive. There are also travel expenses. It's not profitable as before, so I give it up. Although the E-commerce Act regulates the e-commerce market, my pocket money is affected, and that hurts.
Come on, you can do cross-border e-commerce instead. You can earn more money. E-commerce is now widely used. Its growing speed is remarkable. There is indeed a need for a well-developed law to regulate the market.
Yeah, sure. What legal issues does e-commerce law involve?
For this question, let's ask the teacher about it.
Love life, love e-commerce. Welcome to this e-commerce course. The topic of this lecture is overview of the legal environment of e-commerce. In this class, I will introduce legal issues in e-commerce, the concept and the characteristics of e-commerce law and the e-commerce legal relationship. What are the legal issues involved in e-commerce? There are 5 legal issues for e-commerce in China's e-commerce law: electronic signatures, electronic contracts, e-commerce taxation, consumer rights protection, and dispute resolution. We'll explain in detail in the next section. Then, what is the e-commerce law? The e-commerce law is enacted for the purpose of safeguarding the lawful rights and interests of all parties to e-commerce, regulating the e-commerce conduct, maintaining the market order, and promoting the sustainable and the sound development of e-commerce. On December 16, 1996, the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law adopted Model Law on Electronic Commerce, which is the first uniform law on e-commerce in the world. The e-commerce law of the People's Republic of China came into force as of January 1st, 2019. Please take a look at this chart. The characteristics of e-commerce law. First, internationalization. Because e-commerce is borderless, e-commerce law shall be in line with international standards. Second, technology. E-commerce activities rely on technologies such as Internet, etc., which decides that the e-commerce law is born with high tech. Third, openness. The openness of e-commerce law is determined by the wide span of e-commerce in terms of space, time, technology, etc. Fourth, security. E-commerce law serves to ensure the safe operation of e-commerce and the computer system, so it has feature of security. Finally, complexity. The e-commerce law not only regulates the transaction relationship, but also the social relationship and the government management relationship. Take a look at the basic principle of e-commerce law in the fourth part. First of all, the principle of security. The efficiency and the speed of e-commerce is based on security. Technical security measures and the legal regulations are both important. Second, the principle of neutrality. It is to establish fair trading rules in e-commerce activities, which has three aspects. Technology neutrality means it treats any technical means equally, without discrimination. Neutral implementation means that is the legal treatment of national and international e-commerce activities should be the same. Equal protection means that the e-commerce law should protect all parties, both the domestic and foreign, without discrimination. The third principle is anonymous transaction. On one hand, the state should encourage and respect market orientation. On the other hand, it creates a good legal environment and a system for e-commerce. As long as it is not prohibited by the law, it is allowed or not regarded as illegal. As long as the law does not impose, the arrangement between the parties is legal. Finally, the principle of protecting the rights and interests of consumer. It requires that protection of consumer on the network cannot be less than that of consumer in other environment. The state should provide clear, consistent, and predictable laws to promote the protection of parties doing online transactions. At last, let's have a look at legal relationship of e-commerce. E-commerce legal relationship refers to the economic relationship between parties involved in e-commerce activities confirmed by governing e-commerce law and regulations. The e-commerce legal relationship includes three elements: subject, object, and content. These three basic elements are essential at the same time. The subjects in the legal relationship of e-commerce refer to all involved parties in e-commerce and other parties who enjoy rights and undertake obligations. It mainly includes four aspects. The first is e-commerce operator, including e-commerce platform operator, such as Tmall. Operators in platform, such as Zara store in Amazon. Self-built website operator, such as Haire's website, and other e-commerce operators, such as individuals use friend circle or live broadcast. The second is the e-commerce service provider, including internet service providing, internet content providing, and application service providing. The third is a certification organization of e-commerce, such as CE Center. Finally, the regulators of e-commerce, that is the government supervision departments. Next, please look at this chart. We'll talk about the object of legal relationship of e-commerce. The objects of e-commerce law are those that the subject has the rights and obligations have e-commerce legal relationship with. Here, the objects include not only tangible goods, but also digital goods, such as e-books, software, games, etc., as well as online services, such as online travel services, consulting services, education and training services. At the end, let's look at the content of legal relationship of e-commerce. The content refers to the legal rights and the legal obligations of the objects of legal relationship of e-commerce. It is mainly including electronic signature, electronic contracts, e-commerce taxation, consumer rights protection, and the e-commerce dispute resolution. That's all. Thank you for listening.